President Biden bullish on Democrats' chances in the 2022 midterms. This despite poor polling on many key issues. Watch what the president told the crowd at the DNC holiday party.
I want to tell my Republican friends, get ready, pal. You're going in for a problem. As Democrats, we know what we're for, while Republicans don't seem to be for anything. Name me something they are for. We have to keep making the case. And if we do, I believe we're going to win. Let me say this again for the president. We're going to win in 2022.
Talk about not reading the tea leaves. Tough words, but maybe the president needs a reality check, you think? Look how underwater he is on a wide range of issues, sometimes by a 2-to-1 margin on immigration, the economy, crime, and on inflation, which is rising at its fastest pace in nearly 40 years. Tommy, those words are so departed from reality when you have CNBC, Republican generic ballot ahead by 10 points. Washington ABC poll, Republicans ahead by 10 points. That's the highest since the poll has recorded since 1981. I mean, this is not good for Biden. Even these mainstream polling organizations see that.
I think my favorite part of his little speech is when he said he doesn't know what Republicans are for. Well, just to name a few things: law and order, border security, affordability, freedom, just a few things that we're for, limited government. You know, basically everything that's going wrong, we're against all of that and for things that actually work, as they did during the Trump administration. But here's what I fear. I do believe that there is going to be a massive red wave coming in 2022. But I do believe that before then, the Democrats are going to distance themselves from Joe Biden. They're going to say, you know what, he's not really doing a good job. He's not really coherent. They're going to throw him under the bus, and they're going to pretend like they are not attached to the very agenda that he is promoting. I think most people would believe that Joe Biden really isn't in charge of his agenda anyway. It's the Democrat Party. It's the DNC. It's those heavy hitters, those puppeteers that are really forming his entire policy. So to now be able to step back and say, oh, it was just Joe Biden, but the Democrats, we still have your back. We can still make this country great. We can build back better. Well, that's a lie and it's a sham, because you're already doing it and you're failing. So be careful for Democrats trying to distance themselves and pretend that there's something different than the Biden administration. They are the Biden administration.
It's true. And Harris, take a look at some of these headlines. You know, Biden may think he's going to do great, but the mainstream media doesn't think so. New York Times, just how bad is it out there for Democrats? Democratic support has plunged nationally in recent months. Washington Post, why the generic ballot is so ominous for Democrats. CNN, why the 2022 midterms look like the opposite of 2018. I mean, the liberal media seems to have woken up that it's not all
Wait,
so
he lost
great.
the New York Times and the Washington Post?
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Look, Tommy's got a really important point. It's the salience there cannot be missed. It's a warning to Republicans now, right? If the party splits and he's one side and everybody else is on the other, that means that there might be some unification of those far progressives with the moderates. We don't see that now, right? But if it becomes about their political survival, they might do that and stick him out there. Everything sticks to him like goo. He might not even run again. And then something else comes out. Might not be Kamala Harris. It might be somebody else. And Tommy, you're absolutely right about this. As a strategy, that could work. And if Republicans don't get ready for that, they've got to make this now about a wide swath of policies across the board. Take a look at those areas where things are not working out. Look at those 12 cities that lead the nation in homicides forever and for the first time in history with those numbers for those cities. I mean, it's got to be, if they're going to wage the real type of red wave that has sustainability, they'll have to do it with more than look at Biden, look at Biden. It's a very interesting point that she made. I just wanted to add on to that.
Yeah, like Newt Gingrich, Contract with America, when Republicans said this is what we're for and defined it. Republicans have the opportunity to do that on a wide range of issues. Rob, you mentioned immigration and not to ignore it, and this being a salient issue to the American people last block, and you are so right. Take a look at this Wall Street Journal poll, right? Most important issue to voters. Look at what's on top. Immigration at 13%, above the economy at 11%, inflation at 10%. Again, these top three issues Republicans are very good at. Healthcare, where Democrats tend to succeed in the messaging battle, that's a fourth-ranked issue. Rob, immigration is key here.
Yeah, immigration is key. And look, this is what a lot of people are going to be talking about leading into the midterm elections and beyond. So look, when I look at Joe Biden, I call it the Biden bot. So the Biden bot seems to have about 3 settings. One of these settings is that creepy whisper that keeps us all up at night. The other setting is the utter confusion where he doesn't really know where he is or what nap he's on his way to. And the third setting of the Biden bot is this righteous anger, this yelling. And so when I look at that speech at the DNC holiday party, there's this yelling, there's this righteous indignation. Oh, the Republicans, you better get ready, pal. There's this tough talk. And now this is supposed to project authority, but I actually sense that it projects the exact opposite. It projects an insecurity and a weakness because they know that they are underwater on so many issues, including immigration, that the American public really care about. And when the American public looks at their handling of these issues, they see that the Biden administration and the people that are in charge are failing. Now, there are about 19 House Democrats that are either departing the House or are moving on to new things next year. I do not think that you would see these numbers if there was some big red wave coming, or excuse me, if there was some big blue wave coming.
Biden bot, you may have the answer of the day, Rob Smith. Contrast that to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, who had a very hard time yesterday when asked to name President Biden's greatest foreign policy achievement. Take a listen.
What does the administration consider your biggest achievement in foreign policy in this first year?
You know, this is a great question. I want to be thoughtful about it. I want to talk to the president about it, and I'm happy to do that.
Well, Emily.
Oh, man. Okay, so I loved Rob's setting 3 because that's exactly the kind of interaction that Biden has shown toward foreign policy leaders. Now, the issue with what Jen Psaki said is twofold. Number one, that there isn't any foreign policy accomplishments that this administration can tout whatsoever. And secondly, that she failed on the messaging to even have one in the back pocket. I'm sure you know it better, obviously, than all of us, but you at least have something prepared. You would think an administration that's been in office for almost 12 months would have something prepared for that question.
It's got to be on a page of it.
There you go. There has to be something one would think that she can point to. The fact that she literally couldn't just underscores the incompetence of this administration and also how much they make it worse. So if she had asked specifically about Russia, that's interesting. So setting 3 is what the Biden bot used. Remember before they met privately, but then they let Russian state media come in. But remember the big talk. Oh, I'm gonna prove him wrong. Really? Because what happened out of that was you shut our pipeline and let theirs go on. What about President Xi when he said, oh, we're good friends, but campaign-wise, he said, oh, I'm going to show him who's boss. All of this has failed under his watch, not to mention Afghanistan, and this administration, rightly so, can't think of one policy accomplishment.
Can I ask Emily a quick follow? So you don't buy the line that I'm going to, it technically is circle back. She didn't say at that time, but you know she meant it. With the president to come up with that one. You're not buying that.
I respect the fact that she said, I'd like to have a thoughtful answer with you and meet with him, but it is ridiculous that she didn't have one prepared for a foreign policy achievement, like a basic fundamental question. It wasn't something nuanced where we understand.
That's a problem.
One of the easiest softball questions you could get is, what did the president do best on this issue? And she didn't have an answer. Maybe because China's developing hypersonic weaponry, Russia's adding 10,000 more troops to the Ukraine border. There isn't one. That's the real answer.